Before I jump into this video, I just want to point out that this video is probably going to be separated into a two-parter. So there's probably going to be a video showing the comparison between the X-Maxx and the Maxx, just viewing the different features they have and what makes them different, what makes them similar, the power systems, all that stuff. And then I'm going to do a second video where it's just a running video of the two, comparing the two, where I rip it all around, jumping on the ramps and stuff. So if you're not interested in watching me talk for I don't know how many minutes, I'll put a card in the corner, whichever corner of this video. You can just hit that and that'll take you right to part 2, which is just the running of these two machines. So yeah, because I just have so much footage, I don't think I can pack it all into one video. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, what is going on? It is RC Knockout and I am back with another video. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Nolan. In today's video, I am doing a comparison between the mighty Traxxas X-Maxx and the Mini Maxx. Now, this is a very loose comparison, and it's not really a head-to-head, because obviously these two RCs, they're different sizes, they're different costs, they're different capabilities. This is more of a performance for the money type of video. So it's going to be a comparison of what do you get for the amount that you pay for these machines. So going through the prices real quick, the Traxxas Maxx starts out at $550. So $550, but mine has got the Wide Max kit installed. And in my personal opinion, I think it needs a Wide Max kit, otherwise it just flips way too easily. And that adds another $50. So that's $600 realistically for the Max. The X-Maxx is, I think, $899, $900. So it's only $300 more. Now the X-Maxx is a 1/6 scale monster truck. Traxxas doesn't actually label it as a 1/6. They just label it as a max scale, which isn't really a scale, but it's 1/6. And the Max is actually listed as a 110. So it's not quite twice the size of the Max. Theoretically, since this is almost half the size, this should be almost half the price, but it's only $300 less. One thing that I can tell you is that the Max will only require one battery. So you can get away with just buying one battery for the Max, a 4S pack. The X-Maxx, which runs up to 8S, you're going to need 2 4S packs. So that's an extra cost for the X-Maxx that you do have to take into consideration. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, grab the camera off the mount, and we're going to take a closer look at these two RC cars. Just to put everything into context, the X-Maxx came out first. The X-Maxx came out, I believe, in late 2015, if I remember correct. Now, the Traxxas Maxx came out much later. The Traxxas Maxx, actually, I think I don't want to put an exact date on it because I don't remember. I want to say it didn't come out until 2018 or 2019. Let me know down in the comments if you know for sure, because I did not get this early on. I actually just got this a few months ago. So I have not had it very long. I'm very late to the party for the Max. But the Max was made much later and it's based off of the same chassis as the X-Maxx. Everything in the design that's implemented in this basically was taken off of this machine. So both of them have got the clipless body system, which I can tell you the clipless body system is one of the nicest things about these two machines, because you don't have to deal with body clips. So basically all you have to do is flip that latch, pull up, pull the body back. Let's see. And this right here is actually the endo cage, and this part right here actually slipped up underneath of the front shock tower, and then this back part is actually what clamps around the rear shock tower. So it's a pretty genius design by Traxxas, and that makes it so much easier to take the body on and off. And the X-Maxx has the exact same thing. So it's got that same latching system and the same type of endo cage. Let's see if I can get that in the light for you guys. Same type of endo cage where the front piece right here slips up underneath of that front shock tower, and the rear portion right here clamps around the rear shock tower. And there's that Max 6 that I've got installed. Fits in there very nicely, and I think this one just has some subtle upgrades. I did put the 2085X servo in this, so that is Traxxas' upgraded servo. It's a Metal Gear servo, and it's not cheap. It's like $120 for the servo. So personally, I think when you're paying $900, $950, whatever you're paying for the X-Maxx, I think it should have that servo stock. I really do. I don't think you should have to upgrade to that. For the size of this machine, this thing should not have a plastic gear servo. But you know, my original one actually lasted for a while before it actually gave out. I put RPM suspension arms all the way around on this machine. Also, I put the RPM upgrade hub carriers. So they're oversized hub carriers with larger bearings. I put that on the rear because that's actually a kind of a weak point on the X-Maxx is the rear hub carriers. Now my Max, like I said, I have not had it very long. The only upgrade I have on this, the wide Mac kit. So I think it's like 18 or 20 millimeters wider than the stock arms. So the stock arms are slightly shorter, but that 20 millimeters or whatever it is makes a huge difference. The stance on this is perfect now. Stock, it's just too narrow of a machine. And actually also, let me get in the light, also to help out the machine even more, I went ahead and there's two different holes that you can pick for the bottom shock mount. I went ahead and put it in the further one so it lays that shock down ever so slightly more. So it actually gives you a little bit more of a low slung stance and keeps that center of gravity even lower. So you could kind of add a little bit of ground clearance by putting it in the closer hole. Now that's just a very subtle thing that you can do. That's about all the adjustment you can do. Call me out if I'm wrong on this, guys, but I'm pretty sure the Max has got Mod 1 gears. The X-Maxx has got Mod 1 gears. I think the Max has Mod 1 as well. If I'm wrong, then it's probably 32 pitch, but I think it's Mod 1. And both of them have got center differentials that come stock. So center diffs, both of them have got metal gear differentials, which the original diffs on the 6S X-Maxx that this one started out as were kind of garbage. They could not hold up even to 6S power. The 8S ones are much better. You still can tear them up, but it takes quite a bit more abuse to actually tear up the 8S ones, but they're not indestructible. And for the Max, I don't really have enough experience with it. I haven't had any diff issues. I can tell you I've had drive shaft issues, and that's another thing I need to point out. The drive shaft stock on this machine are plastic. On the X-Maxx, it has got metal dog bones with metal drive cups and aluminum stub axles. Now this basically just has a kind of metal / plastic stub axle that goes into a telescopic drive shaft that's also plastic. And I've already completely shattered one that I literally just replaced. So this one right here, you can probably tell is brand new. I had to replace this drive shaft because it completely broke right at the stub axle. The whole stub axle and the wheel flew off. So that's a weak point on this machine. I might want to even upgrade that. So that's another thing to take into consideration, that this has got a lot of power. It's got the VXL4S in it. I believe this is a 2400 kV motor. Got a heat sink, a small little heat sink on there. And it has also got one single blower fan. Now my X-Maxx, this has still got the stock motor. It's still got the heat sink under there. But the blend-in fan that I had on top, the dual blower fan, actually the wire pulled out and quit working. So I went ahead and I kind of very crudely strapped on a Castle dual blower fan. So it basically does the exact same job, just the fitment's not very good. Doesn't quite fit down in there right over that heatsink. This one's ever so slightly geared up. So 18 tooth pinion is stock. So it's still running the stock pinion, but it's got a 52 spur gear. So stock would be a 54, which just adds a couple miles per hour to the top speed. Which the top speed on this, Traxxas is listed at 50 plus. This one I've topped it out with a pretty accurate GPS at like 46. So this ever so slightly geared up, 46 miles per hour. I think you can expect 43, 44 maybe with stock gearing, which is still plenty fast. I mean, that's still a really quick RC. Now the Traxxas Maxx is actually listed running a 4S pack, and the stock gearing can go 55 plus. And I actually confirmed that because I did a video, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the corner of this video, here or whichever side. I'm gonna go ahead and put a card for that because I actually tested the top speed with my GPS for the Max. It claimed 40 miles per hour with the low speed gearing and a 3S pack, and it did 40 miles per hour spot on. Said 55 miles per hour with the stock gearing on 4S, and it did 55, like 55.3 or 55.4. So it was spot on. So this is actually a faster machine. So even though this thing's smaller, this is faster than the X-Maxx. This is easily 10 miles per hour minimum faster than an X-Maxx. Both of them can do wheel stands like crazy, which is why both of them are fitted with wheelie bars, which both the wheelie bars seem pretty sturdy. They both have pretty large shocks. I don't know if the Max obviously is not going to have as much travel as the X-Maxx. You can see there's the travel before it actually hits the ground. X-Maxx has obviously significantly more. But yeah, so this is a very loose comparison. I'm going to go out and rip them out here at this local park that I'm at. Also, I'm going to set up some ramps, elevate them with those ramps, and we're going to maybe do some backflips, do some super cool stuff, and see for $300 more is it better to have this machine, or is it better to save a little bit of money and get the little brother? Because I can tell you from a convenience standpoint for carrying around, it's so much easier to carry around a 110 scale like the Max compared to this. This thing, once it dies and you got to lug it all the way back to the car, oh, it can get heavy. Like the X-Maxx weighs over 20 pounds. This is like 10 to 12, so almost half the weight. And both of them, the wheelie bar comes in very nice as a very good handheld spot to carry it, especially if it's muddy and you're carrying it back to the car. You can keep it away from your body by holding onto it by the wheelie bar. Same thing's true for the X-Maxx. Now the X-Maxx is a little bit more difficult to hold away from your body because it's so heavy, but you can use the wheelie bar as a handheld spot, as a handle, I should say, and just works really well. But that is a much heavier RC to lug around. I don't think there's really anything else to say, guys. I think it's just time to go ahead, get these things started up, and start ripping them.